promenade is traversal material. Streetwear? You got that stuff head to toe. Ballooning flannel with the underlining polyester gown bunched up in the elbow. Not that elbow, the other one, the knee. So in case you need to dress two women, you can just take, there's a zipper around the outside of the gown pocket, so it used to be. You hit the streets or the promenade, people look at you, realize what it is, that it's the latest hip craze, then they think, you're bad people. And there was a certain point in time where, statistically speaking, those folks were onto a thing or two. Now, though, see, everything rotates, it revolves. There are miniature inversions taking place every moment. Enough of those coincide, and the whole dog flips over. Have you ever noticed that? People are trying to teach Fido McHaverstein to roll over. What they have failed at in this life is just waiting for the right moment. Half a life is the waiting. Dog parts having these small upheavals. Once in a while, your dog looks like it got uppercutted by an invisible spatula. Dog is so freaked out when it happens, lands straight on its back, and it's like, why, God, why? And Dog God looks down and says, you don't understand the science yet. But once all of the canine scientists figure out how to talk and leave records of their discoveries, you'll be on the road to knowing why every dog gets sky-boinged backwards from time to time. This dog, no prior interest whatsoever in the underworkings in the hovercraft field, now has science on the mind. He's like, I'm gonna teach dogs to fly. And his dog stepson goes, fake daddy, why are you abandoning your lucrative career as a museum? And then while some of the guests walk out of the dog, he says, I'll still do that on the main, don't worry. Science is my side piece. So he needs lab space. Goes into himself. He knows that the secretary in charge of the purse mutation unit has some connections. He doesn't have those, so he needs to borrow hers. He says, can I snag up some of them connections you have? She says, I haven't seen a bonus since I started working here. He says, I'm not the boss, I'm the premises. I'll talk to the boss. Walks down some of his ventricles, goes into the museum CEO's head, and screams at the brain tissue and says, purse mutation secretary needs a bonus, better yet, how about a raise? And then the brain meat vibrates with such a subtle shifting in its fundamental construction, but at the end of it, there are entire lobes that have turning, like, there is, the brain is part kidney now. That's not good for thinking. So at first, going on about, look, museums are not a thriving industry. They're going to shut the doors on you. Do you want your body to go out of business? But by the time he hits this point, the kidnification of the whole setup has taken over. He's like, yeah, let's give her some money. What even is money? Fido McHaverstein goes, I'm gonna hold you to that. Runs back down to the purse mutation wing, says, okay, I got you hooked up. Where are these connections? She reaches into her highly mutated purse, pulls them out. He says, how am I gonna use these to make a hovercraft? She says, you figure it out. You're the scientist, he says. I'm only faking. She pats him on the dog's shoulder and says, look here, Fido. I know what you have been through. I can smell the fleas from here. I know your owner still has that weird habit of collecting your waste and toting it about as you stroll. I hope someday you get through these things. Maybe once you and other dogs can fly, this dream will become reality. You can hide the poop where they can't bag it up. So this inspires him, takes the connections in his dog hand, just starts wiggling them around just to see what'll happen. All of a sudden, the anodes and the dianthus bush meet. And the dianthus bush has these little ringlets of dirty froth. Freaking lousy with them. They're everywhere. And the anode sees this and goes, "Do you need a washing?" Dianthus says, "If you've got a spare." Anode reaches into his left shoe, pulls out a wash, and just bathes this plant, and now dogs can fly. The inversions still happen, but some other scientists are working on that. They're making real strides on at least predicting when they'll coincide. So this way, dog can just make sure, it's going to be 4:36 p.m. next Friday. I'll just be in the sky at that time. It just makes flipping around real fun. You can readjust at your leisure and there's no scrapiness on your spinal region. Inspiration